Whole West, Mr. Speaker, there are farmers in Ho. Mr. Speaker, the entire Ho municipality, they are not getting any support. And then you render Erikopoku redundant at the ministry.
With 900 million.
Erikopoku has been rendered redundant at the Ministry of Agric. What a shame. Mr. Speaker, what a shame. And instead of commending Joseph Boahinedu's Cocoa Board for achieving the 1 million mark in terms of tonnage, they came here to attack Cocoa Board. They forgot about the success story, and they forgot about the initiatives of the predecessors in that area. All they know is to attack and to lament. Mr. Speaker, thank God that this administration has only a term. Thank God. Thank God. Mr. Speaker, thank God that John Dramani Maham's government has only 4 years. Thank God that there's a new light ahead of us. A new light that will bring back hope. The true hope that the people expect. The true hope under NPP. Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to exhaust the entire 40 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to exhaust the entire 40 minutes. Because, Mr.
Honorable Minority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, the minority must know that after me, the majority leader will come. And we are observing their conduct. The majority led by my good friend Governor Agboja must know that when I am done, their boss will come. So my backbenchers are observing.
Members, order. Honorable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, it is very clear to us that our friends in government today were only interested in propaganda politics. They came into government with no clear plans for the people of Ghana. They came into government with no clear plans to create jobs. They came into office with no clear plans for the fisher folks of our country. They came into office with no clear plans for the farmers of our country. They only came to persecute, to arrest political opponents, and deny them their basic fundamental human rights. It is clear that this government came into being to kill private sector initiative. Is the reason why they are unable to tell us a single initiative for the private sector. I ask a question. What is the work of the trade minister? What is the work of the trade minister? They say they have an advisor for 24-hour economy. What is his work? And they've loaded so many people at the office of the vice president. Advisor here, chief of staff here. How many chief of staff do you have at the presidency? Mr. Speaker, the vice president has a chief of staff, The president also has a chief of staff. It's a matter of public record. Now, Mr. Speaker, they claim they were going to form a lean government. Let me expose them. They have appointed more political appointees than ministers. Go to Jubilee. Spokesperson for this, deputy spokesperson, communication director, communication this, research that, research this. Oh, and then you claim that a lean government. Which lean government? Which lean government? So many presidential advisors, all coming at a cost to the country. Meanwhile, you promise Ghanaians a lean government. And Mr. Speaker, to worsen it, this government has demonstrated to be indecisive. The president, in swearing in the deputy ministers 2 weeks ago, promised that he was going to bring a list of 4 deputy ministers to complete the list of nominees. Mr. Speaker, it's been a third week. Indecisiveness. They cannot. All the remaining MPs in this chamber are fighting for the 4 nominations. What is happening? All the great talents, the women in this chamber are not being mentioned. What is happening? What happened to the affirmative action law? What happened to the 30%? What happened to Hajia Ladi? What happened to Zanato Ajimanroles? What happened to Eleni Tosu? What happened to her? Oh, what happened to the women of substance on the majority side? What happened to them? A government of discrimination. A government of discrimination. A government of discrimination. What is happening? Today, the majority bench is so demotivated. So much stress. Their members do not know whether they are to move from the left to the right or to move from the right to the center. You have to get a godfather before you get an appointment. Why? Godfather, after you've all fought for power, now you need godfather, you have to be begging for board appointment. Why? If you don't have a godfather, they will consider you. Why? The founder's daughter, not even deputy minister. Why? Go to Western region. All the talent in Western region, no appointment. Why? Go to Volta region. Vote to Volta region. Only 3 appointees in government. Only 3. Why? What have the people of Volta done to you? Why? Mr. Speaker, I end my case.
Honorable members, order. Is now the turn of Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let me join colleagues to thank the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kessel Ato Balforson, for presenting the 2025 budget statement and economic policy to this House. Mr. Speaker, The statement and policy has been vigorously debated in the public space and commented on in this House. We've all gotten richer by listening to the debates and the commentary. This House benefited from a 3-day workshop where we had experts and resource persons help us deepen our understanding of the budget figures and the policy proposals. So, Speaker, today it is the turn of leadership to wind up the commentary, if not the debate. And I just listened to my colleague, the Honorable Minority Leader, who had just spoken. After listening to him, Mr. Speaker, I miss the days of people like J.H. Mensah, who, when they debated the budget, you walked away highly educated in economic figures, statistics, and policies. I was wondering whether we were listening to a debate of the budget or a debate about governance in this country. Mr. Speaker, in order that listeners are not confused, I want to restate that the debate is of the budget policy that was presented to this House and not governance generally. Mr. Speaker, the budget clearly establishes President John Dramani Mahama as a talk and do president of Ghana. Talk and do president of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish e-levy. E-levy, Yamutu. E-levy abolished. Talk and do president. President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish the betting tax. Betting tax, Yamutu. Talk and do president. President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish emission levies. Mr. Speaker, the budget policy promises to do that. Talk and do president. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish the VAT on motor vehicle insurance policy. Mr. Speaker, that is also going. Talk and do president. President John Dramani Mahama promised not to tax small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, that is also going. Talk and do president. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to stabilize the city by establishing the Ghana Gold Board. That is also happening. Talk and do president. President John Dramani Mahama promised to reduce the size of government and cut down on government expenditure. Mr. Speaker, ministries are being reduced from 30 to 23 and ministers reduced from 88 to 60. Talk and do president. Mr. Speaker, we promise to cut down on waste and inefficiency, and we are removing Ghana Cares, You Start, One District, One Factory. They are all going. Talk and do president. Mr. Speaker, the president promised to take away duplication and cost. And so he is realigning institutions and doing away with the development authorities and assigning their responsibilities to the various district assemblies where they actually belong to. Talk and do president. Mr. Speaker, our national health insurance system was collapsing because of capping. President John Dramani Mahama promised to remove capping so that the full allocation will go to the levy so that our health insurance system will function again and healthcare delivery will work for Ghanaians again. That is happening in this budget. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, he promised to give the full allocation for roads to the roads fund and take away the capping there as well, so that our roads will get better, and that is happening in this budget. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, due to capping of GET Fund could not complete all the E-blocks across the country. Schools were struggling for renovation. Education was struggling for funding. This budget will remove the capping and GET Fund will get its full allocation and our schools will work again. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, our energy sector, which is in a major crisis due to lack of investments, is being addressed. John Dramani Mahama promised to fix the energy sector, which is in crisis, and this budget seeks to reduce the GMPC share of net carried and participating interest from 30% to 15% and fully restore transfers to GMPC under the Earmark Funds Act, and this will enable GMPC to invest in the energy sector. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised the big push for infrastructure, and it is obvious that that commitment is being fulfilled. I have heard arguments suggesting that only 13 billion Ghana cedis is allocated for big push. Mr. Speaker, listen carefully. When we uncap road funds and the money goes to the road funds, what will road funds use the money for? To pay for roads. Is that not infrastructure? Is that not what the big push is about? When we uncap GET Fund and the resources go to GET Fund and they complete our E-blocks, is that not infrastructure? Is that not big push? When we uncap NHIL levy and the money goes, some of the money will find their way to health infrastructure. Is that not big push? Doesn't it give a big push? When we uncap GMPC funds and they invest in the energy sector, is that not going to give infrastructure a big push? When we amend the mineral investment fund and the allocations now go for infrastructure, is that not a big push? Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that the creativity, the ingenuity, the intellect, and simple the answer that has gone into crafting this budget.
Honorable Ayarga, what is the meaning of the answer?
Answer means common sense. Common sense. Mr. Speaker, wisdom, the creativity, ingenuity, intellect, and wisdom that went into the crafting of this budget, is unparalleled in the history of budgets in this House. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that my Inkitikiti minority need a crash course in budget analysis to understand this budget.
Honorable Ayarga, what is Inkitikiti?
My small minority, Inkitikiti, micro minority, they need a crash course in Atuforcing Budget Analysis 101 so that they can understand how this budget is crafted. You don't just look at 13 billion to big push and say, oh, you are not committed to your infrastructure agenda. Big push is to push infrastructure. And there are several allocations that will deal with the problem of infrastructure. All that put together will make sure that infrastructure objective is achieved. Mr. Speaker, I hear them say that we haven't allocated enough resources for agriculture, for economic transformation. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that our agriculture for economic transformation is founded on a big investment in agricultural infrastructure. More irrigation, more roads to farming communities, more warehouses. These are infrastructure ticket items. So the big push, ask yourself, where is the money going to? Agriculture is one of the key focal areas of the big push resource. So don't just look at the 1.5 billion and say that that is the only allocation to infrastructure or for agriculture. That is why I say that there is a need for a 101 crash course in budget analysis so that we understand the ingenuity, the wisdom, the nyansa that has gone into the crafting of this budget. Mr. Speaker, my colleague, Kojo Opon Kuruma Honorable, said we are not putting our money where our values are. Mr. Speaker, if you look at this budget, it clearly addresses our big ticket items. Mr. Speaker, we promised the Gold Board to stabilize the city. I hear you talk about the private sector being the engine of growth. I heard the minority leader ask questions. What are you doing for the private sector? The private sector is not asking you for tax waivers. No matter what tax waivers you give to the private sector, if your city is not stable, they will never make it. If your inflation is as high as 50%, they will never make it. If your cost of borrowing is 30%, they will never make it. No matter how much tax discounts you give to them, no matter how much tax waivers you give to them, one single intervention, stabilizing the city, making sure there is a certainty in that department, and you will see how much boost we will give to our private sector. That is why the Gold Board is an important instrument, and we have allocated 43 billion for that. Mr. Speaker, 4.3 billion for that. Mr. Speaker, 43. Mr. Speaker, we have made provision for the no academic fee policy. We have made provision for free sanitary pads. We have made provision for the Akosombo Dam spillage. We have made provision for free SHS, free textbooks, school feeding program, capitation grants, road fund, District Assembly Common Fund, getting 80% of their allocation. Every single priority of this government has been provided for in this budget. That's how you know that we are committed to the promises that we made to the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, let me say for emphasis that since President Nkrumah, no president has taken bold steps to strengthen social protection in one single budget like John Dramani Mahama has done this year. No single president in one budget, from healthcare to education to local governance, every sector, wherever social welfare is implicated, significant allocation has been made. Mr. Speaker, we have a number of social interventions that we can boast of in the budget statement. The no academic fee policy implemented, free tertiary education for persons with disability provided for, free primary health care, Mahama Cares provided for, free sanitary pad for schoolgirls provided for. Mr. Speaker, John Dramani Mahama is indeed a talk and do president. He talk, he do. 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 This is the president who talks and does. Mr. Speaker, the budget tells us where we are coming from. Where are we coming from? Let's not run away from where we are coming from. Mr. Speaker, this country has seen a lot of mismanagement, and the budget has captured that. Our city suffered significant decline over the 8 years periods, from an exchange rate of 3.9 Ghana cedis in 2017 to 15 Ghana cedis in 2024. The worst depreciation ever in the history of our country. This is where we are coming from. This country, government was buying treasury bills at 28 to 30% interest. This is where we are coming from. How was the private sector going to be able to get loans in order to invest and create jobs to employ our teeming youth? This is where we are coming from. Our public debt, Mr. Speaker, had ballooned from 122 billion to 726.7 billion Ghana cedis. Per capita GDP growth had worsened from 6% in 2016 to about 2% in 2023. Mr. Speaker, the banking sector has collapsed. The banking sector collapsed. Yes, collapsed. Collapsed. As we speak. As we speak. Mr. Speaker, in 2016, the average capital adequacy ratio of our banks stood at 19.46%. Average capital adequacy ratio of our banks in 2016 stood at 19.46%. Today, 2024, I'm not even talking about today, 2024, the average capital adequacy ratio of the banks worsened to 4%. Worsened to 4%. Worsened to 4%. Get to the Bank of Ghana. Their records. Their records. Mr. Speaker, the banks have collapsed. Mr. Speaker, let's go to non-performing loans of existing banks. In 2016, average non-performing loans of banks stood at 20%. In 2024, average non-performing loans of banks stood at 40%. 40%. Not only the businesses are collapsing and they are unable to pay their loans. That's how bad it is in the banking sector. The DDP program compelled banks to impair 3.64 billion Ghana cedis. It means that is how much the banks lost to the debt exchange program. 3.64 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, The central bank itself, the lender of last resort, has collapsed. It has become insolvent. Mr. Speaker, they killed the banker of last resort. The bank now needs money from the government of Ghana, a bailout. Mr. Speaker, it is on record that the audit report of the central bank in 2022 showed that the bank had lost over 60 billion Ghana cedis. Today, that loss is in excess of 70 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this is what has happened over the 8 years. State-owned enterprises have collapsed. Ghana Water Company in 2016 was solvent, and it had a total fund of 2.4 billion as profit. Metro Mass Limited made a profit of 66 million. In 2023, Ghana Water Company became insolvent and lost 345 million Ghana cedis. Metro Mass lost 11 million Ghana cedis. In 2016, ECG made a profit of 3.2 billion Ghana cedis. 2016, Electricity Company of Ghana, 3.2 billion Ghana cedis. Ghana Water Company, where a known friend of mine used to work. In 2016, they made a profit of 101 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, ECG made a loss of a colossal sum of 5.9 billion Ghana cedis. Ghana Water Company made a loss of 1.9 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this is what John Dramani Mahama has to reset. And we talk about criminal mismanagement of the economy. Mr. Speaker, let's talk about criminal mismanagement of the economy. Ghana lost 720 million as a result of the SML deal. That is a Strategic Mobilization Limited deal. KPMG audit report showed that we paid 720 million from the 2.45 billion Ghana cedis revenue generated through the e-levy, ESLA levy. Mr. Speaker, this is what happened. Clear criminal mismanagement of the economy. Mr. Speaker, clear criminal mismanagement of the economy. So there must be prosecutions. There must be prosecutions. And so you cannot stand here and complain when prosecutions are taking place, because there was criminal mismanagement of the economy. No prosecutions. Mr. Speaker, talk about criminal mismanagement of the economy. When this country could have used 6 billion Ghana cedis to capitalize 11 affected banks, commercial banks, we didn't do that. We waited, carry out a banking sector cleanup exercise, and in the end, we paid 30 billion Ghana cedis for a problem that we could have solved with 6 billion Ghana cedis. What else What else fits the discrimination of criminal mismanagement of an economy? And the finance minister in the budget indicated that even after spending the 30 billion Ghana cedis in the cleanup exercise, we still need 10 billion Ghana cedis. And NIB and ADB need 2.2 billion Ghana cedis. We need all that to be able to restore the health of our banking sector. As a result of the criminal mismanagement of our economy, we have lost control over our economy because our own indigenous banks have all collapsed, and it is the foreign banks that are in charge, and we have lost control over our economy. So when you lose control over the financial sector, you lose control over your economy. Mr. Speaker, let's continue the discussion of criminal mismanagement of the economy. In 2018, a certain finance minister went for Eurobonds of $2 billion US dollars. In 2019, $3 billion US dollars. In 2020, $3 billion US dollars. In 2021, $3.3 billion US dollars. Mr. Speaker, as he did this, he was walking home with 9.2 million US dollars as fees for his bank that negotiated the bonds. Let's talk about criminal mismanagement of our economy. ECG paid $12 million, which is 186 million Ghana cedis to Haptel for a contract to upgrade and replace its obsolete systems. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. ECG paid $12 million, equivalent to 186 million Ghana cedis to Haptel for a contract to upgrade and replace its obsolete systems. After the execution of the contract, when ECG used the platform to raise money, an additional 403 million Ghana cedis was paid to them. Meanwhile, ECG has huge debt, and the 589 million Ghana cedis that was paid could have been used to pay ECG debts. Mr. Speaker, let's continue the discussion of criminal mismanagement of the economy. In the last 14 years, we have recorded the highest inflation rate under the Akufo-Addo regime, where inflation went up to 50%. We have suffered the most volatile exchange rate. Mr. Speaker, the Bank of Ghana was brought to its knees. But once the obituary of the Bank of Ghana was being announced in an audit report revealed in 2023, President Akufo-Addo and Bawumia were busy constructing a Bank of Ghana building at the cost of $261 million United States dollars. A building that they were told to construct at a little over 88 million United States dollars. Mr. Speaker, once they went to the IMF for a bailout of 3 billion United States dollars for 3 years, civil society groups were telling us that we were losing 3 billion US dollars annually to corruption in this country. Mr. Speaker, instead of going to the IMF for a bailout, if they had cleaned the Flagstaff House or then Jubilee House and stopped using Jubilee House as a clearing house for corruption, we could have been saving 2 billion US dollars annually, and we could have been lending to the IMF instead. In 3 years, the IMF will owe us 6 billion United States dollars. Mr. Speaker, talk about criminal mismanagement of the economy. A simple Google search informed me today that cocoa beans averagely sold at 9,787 United States dollars per ton. At our 2021 production volume of 1 million tons of cocoa, we would have been raking in today 9.78 billion United States dollars. If we had simply managed the cocoa sector, basic management of trees, cocoa trees, even trees we couldn't manage. Today, Ghana would have been raking in 9.78 billion United States dollars from the sale of 1 million tons of cocoa, which target we easily met in 2021. Mr. Speaker, we could have been lending money to the IMF today. We could have been lending money to the IMF today. But because of the mismanagement of this economy, today we are at the IMF begging for $1 billion a year. Mr. Speaker, I have heard my colleagues gloat over the 5.7% GDP growth of 2024. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that that growth came at a cost, and that is the total mismanagement of our environment. It came as a result of the Galamsey activities. And Ghanaians, in spite of the 5.7% growth, voted against the recklessness in the management of the environment of this country. That is why, in spite of the 5.7% growth, Ghanaians overwhelmingly voted against the NPP government. Mr. Speaker, that is why this government will continue to invest in the management of the environment. Mr. Speaker, the debt that we mentioned, notwithstanding, we still have huge arrears and huge payables running into several hundreds of billions of Ghana cedis. Cocoa Board has an outstanding debt of 32 billion. Outstanding cocoa roads payments stand at 21 billion. Only 4.4 billion of that has been paid. All these are in the budget. But Mr. Speaker, this budget has been realistic. The modest growth of 4% that has been projected, by the finance minister is realistic, and the objective of the budget is clear in paragraph 120, where the finance minister says, Mr. Speaker, the resetting agenda will be anchored on 1, restoring hope in our democracy, renewing trust in public officials, and helping every Ghanaian attain their full potential. 2, offering a trusted hand to the vulnerable, particularly women and youth, and creating a new Ghana for coming generations. And 3, stimulating demand by patronizing made-in-Ghana goods under the 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, during our workshop, our senior Guzitano came and extensively presented to this House the policy detail of the 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, his presentation was so clear that my friends on this side did not ask a single question. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy clearly underpins the budget that was presented to this House. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy is overarching. It permits every aspect of the economy. It is to enable the economy to work 24 hours. And that will happen. Mr. Speaker, this budget and policy document clearly downsizes government. It realigns institutions to cut down on cost. It creates a framework for ensuring a stable microeconomy that will inure to the benefit of the private sector so that they can grow and create jobs. The budget document resets the SOEs so that they can begin to make profit and create jobs for the youth. Mr. Speaker, the road to a reset Ghana is not a smooth one. It will be painful. But we will do whatever it takes to reset Ghana. If we show the world that we are a serious people, the world will give us a helping hand. And this is what this budget seeks to do. The way Ghanaians voted in 2024, December 7th, is a clear indication that they want a change. This budget is changing things. Mr. Speaker, this parliament is crucial to the implementation of the policy objectives in this budget. It is our responsibility to work with the President to ensure that the policy proposals contained in this budget are implemented. Mr. Speaker, different constituencies will pay different prices for the policy implications contained in the budget. Mr. Speaker, let me thank all those who participated in the debate. Let me assure the Finance Minister and His Excellency the President that this House, this side of the House, stand by every policy that is captured in this budget document. We will pass the appropriation bill so that we can commence the implementation of this budget. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Honourable member, order. Order. Honourable members, Honourable Minister responsible for finance, will you want to conclude? If so, your concluding comment on the budget statement.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to first express my sincere appreciation to you and members of both sides of the aisle for the support you have provided so far. Mr. Speaker, this budget is one that is people-centered, with innovative solutions to address our deep-seated socio-economic issues. Mr. Speaker, it addresses our economic challenges, provide the necessary environment for business growth, introduce a 24-hour economy initiative, provide economic opportunities, create the atmosphere in providing ample jobs for our citizens. Mr. Speaker, it is also a budget that provides for the vulnerable and the poor. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that provides hope for all Ghanaians. And, Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that ensures that whatever we need as a country to bring back our past glory and even beyond is provided. Mr. Speaker, we have a job to do. We have started fixing the problems. We will fix all the major issues and improve living standards of our citizens. We will require the support of this House to execute effectively and efficiently. Mr. Speaker, we will take on board the constructive criticisms that we have received on the floor of this House to reset the economy of Ghana and to deliver the Ghana we all want. This year, Mr. Speaker, we have set ourselves key targets, and we believe this target will be achieved. The targets are grow the economy to at least 4%. Mr. Speaker, we have set a target to reduce inflation to a minimum of 11.9%. We've set a target to stabilize the exchange rate, a target to accumulate international reserves, not to cover not less than 3 months of import cover. We have set an ambitious target to improve the primary balance to a surplus of 1.5% of GDP and beyond. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have put in place effective fiscal consolidation measures, combination of expenditure rationalization and revenue-enhancing measures to support the fiscal consolidation drive that are announced as part of the budget. Mr. Speaker, despite the challenges of the Bank of Ghana, with almost 60 billion negative equity, right, Honorable Speaker, the Bank of Ghana is policy solvent. This simply means that the central bank is able to generate enough revenue to perform its monetary policy function. And it's important that I state that regardless of the difficulties the central bank is going through, they are policy solvent. Mr. Speaker, we are determined to bring back the IMF program on track. We are committed to the full implementation of the IMF program, including its structural benchmark and key performance criteria. Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much for the opportunity to conclude on this statement, the budget policy and economic policy of government for the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that accompanied by this budget, we have I think we have 21 different bills for consideration. And I urge this House to urgently support the passage of these bills to see this budget through. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, statement time is ended. We have come to the conclusion of comment or commentary on the budget, statement, and economic policy of government for the year ending 31st December 2025. Thank you very much for your insightful comments on the budget statement. Honourable members, we'll move to item numbered Honourable members, order paper addendum at commencement of public business. Presentation of papers.
Speaker, may I seek your leave for us to move to order paper addendum?
Yes, order paper addendum. Presentation of papers.
Mr. Speaker.
Presentation of papers.
That is so. Mr. Speaker, the following papers are ready to be presented. by the chairman of the committee. But Mr. Speaker, because the chairman is presently engaged at the committee level, so the vice chairman is here to
Please, leave is hereby granted.
Thank you very much.
Item numbered A by the chairman of the committee. Order paper addendum A. Yes, Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, the way you emphasize the minority is very interesting, whatever it is. But I'm not objecting. Speaker, at the conclave, this comes as a surprise. And I'm not objecting. I appreciate the times we are, but some of these things, the surprises shouldn't be too many. I thought the agreement was that the earlier papers that were laid, and the Speaker, he sought your leave for us to file order of business, and then we had statement. The agreement was that we would then proceed to take the motions, because I see the ministers are here, I see committee chairs are here. Yeah, but you are surprising me. Speaker, that notwithstanding, I will yield to him. We should go ahead and lay the papers.
Honourable members, the essence is to lay for distribution to members. Yes, Honourable Vice Chairman of the committee.
Report of the Committee on Finance on the Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill 2025. Okay.
Honourable members, the report duly presented and it is for distribution to honourable members. B.
B. Okay. Report of the Finance Committee on the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund Amendment Bill 2025.
This report duly laid and it is for distribution of members. Honourable members, all these reports are being laid by the Vice Chairman of the Finance Committee. Can we take all of them together?
Report of the Finance Committee on the Revenue Administration Amendment Bill 2025. Report of the Finance Committee on the Special Import Levy Amendment Bill 2025. Report of the Finance Committee on Emissions Levy Repeal Bill 2025. Report of the Finance Committee on the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025. Report of the Finance Committee on the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill 2025. Report of the Finance Committee on the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Bill 2025. Report of the Finance Committee on the Earmarked Funds Keeping and Realignment Amendment Bill 2025. Report of the Finance Committee on the Energy Sector Levy Bills 2025.
Honourable members, the report numbered on the order paper addendum A to J are duly presented and it is for distribution to honourable members. Honourable members, let's come to the main order paper. Item numbered 9. Motion. Minister for Energy and Green Transition. Item numbered 9. Motion.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion that this Honourable House approves the sum of 1,280,905,335,000 for the services of the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition for the year ending 31st December 2025. I so move.
Motion moved by the Minister. Any seconder?
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I rise to second the motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Chairman for the committee. Chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion and also present your committee's report on the annual budget estimate of the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition for the 2025 financial year. Mr. Speaker, I would like to plead with the Hansard Department to capture the full report as being read, as I take only the observation and the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, the observation is on page 14 of your committee's report. The committee made the following observation during the deliberations. Decline in oil production. The committee, Mr. Speaker, observed a significant decline in oil production, noting a 22% reduction from a peak of 190,000 barrels per day in 2019. This decline was attributed to multiple factors, including unresolved disputes such as Ennis Springfield dispute, policy inconsistencies, and the exit of major international oil companies from Ghana's upstream sector. The minister expressed concern over dwindling production levels and stressed the urgent need to revamp investment in the sector by addressing regulatory uncertainties and attracting new investors. The committee urged the ministry to take immediate steps to reverse the trend by resolving pending disputes, improving investment conditions, and implementing policies that encourage oil exploration and production. Competitive environment for investors. On the issue of creating a more competitive environment for investors, the committee noted that Ghana's current fiscal terms may not be as attractive as those offered by neighboring countries, thereby discouraging foreign investment. It was observed that Cote d'Ivoire, for instance, maintains a stable participation rate of 10% in oil blocks, whereas Ghana has increased its share to 15%, a policy that could deter potential investors. The minister assured the committee that the government was considering a review of these fiscal terms and investment policies to ensure that GNPC remains competitive and attracting foreign direct investment into Ghana's oil and gas sector. The committee emphasized the need for a stable and predictable regulatory framework to build investors' confidence and drive growth in the sector. Mr. Speaker, excess expenditure by NPA and Petroleum Commission. Regarding the budgetary performance, the committee raised concern over excess expenditure recorded by Petroleum Commission in 2024. It was noted that the Petroleum Commission exceeded its budget for compensation by 1.6 million and goods and services by 1.2 million. And this was attributed to the exchange rate fluctuations and extended contracts for key personnel of the Commission. Similarly, NPA overspent on its capital expenditure CapEx due to exchange rate related cost adjustment. The committee reminded the NPA that parliamentary approval is required for any variations to approved budget and cautioned that future instances of unauthorized expenditure will not be tolerated. The minister acknowledged these concerns and assured the committee that measures will be put in place to prevent any occurrences in the future. Mr. Speaker, the committee expressed concern regarding substantial allocation of compensation within the Petroleum Commission. Concerns were raised about the efficiency and necessity of certain staff positions, with the committee's questioning whether the current workforce size is commensurate with the operational requirement of the Commission. In response, the Honorable Minister affirmed the Ministry's commitment to undertaking a rationalization exercise across its agencies to ensure optimal staffing levels and value for money in the utilization of public resources. During the budget review, Mr. Speaker, the committee took note of the proposed rehabilitation of data center for MPA, which had been allocated funds in the 2025 budget. The minister explained that the rehabilitation was necessary to ensure data security, improve regulatory efficiency, and support licensing process. While acknowledging the importance of this initiative, the committee emphasized the need for cost-effective execution and prudent financial management to avoid excessive expenditure. The committee requested further details on the scope of
Honorable Member, the conclusion of the report. Hansard has captured the entire report.
In conclusion, after a comprehensive review of the annual budget.
So that was a live coverage from Parliament, where the House has finished with its discussions on the 2025 budget that was presented by the Finance Minister. A while ago, you saw the Finance Minister giving his final briefing on that particular issue. There'll be more on Channel 1 Newsroom tonight at 8. Do join us. My name is Hawa Idrisi Mustafa.
You're here with me in the kitchen where we're going to make a top. Auntie Kwa Tremetin is my guest, and we are making a very, very ceremonial meal, but it's also become an everyday meal for people. You can make a to, that's what we're talking about, or oto, depending on which part of Ghana you come from. Now it's hot, it's beginning to fry, bubble over, you can see the bubbles. So Auntie Kwa, when we are done with this, we'll remove some, break some up, and then mash it with the yam, with the plantain, before we add our red oil. And the red oil too, there's a way we do it.
The accompaniment, the kobe.
You find it only in Ejuma.
Or kobai, in Kati and Charlie.
What's Cooking is brought to you by Tasty Tom, Kivo Pepper, and Suzy Herbal Center. Get ready as we take you back to your roots to experience the food, music, dance, games, and many more at the Back to Your Village Food Festival. The dates are 29th and 30th of March 2025. Time is 10 a.m. right through till 6 p.m. each day. The venue, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, AMA. Follow all Channel 1 TV and 97.3 CDFM social media handles for updates with the hashtag Back to Your Village. Entry is free, so see you there.
The best blood tonic you can get.
The Back to Your Village Food Festival 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by Gino, Koa Natural Cocoa Fruit Juice, Pan-African Savings and Loans, Tibu Water, Twilliam Industrial Company Limited, and Contract Cleaners Association of Ghana. Oh, do